Alrighty guys, what is going on? It is Joseph here back from another LEGO Star Wars video here today. And today guys, we're going to be talking about some LEGO Star Wars comparisons. In today's video we're going to be talking about the 2021 Summer Figs and their real life comparisons. I guess technically not all of the comparisons are going to be real life because some of these guys come from animated TV shows. So that's that. But otherwise, these are just going to be comparisons of the minifigures from today's video versus, like I said, their counterparts. And yeah, let's get right into the video, shall we? Anyways though guys, before I get into today's video, I do want to give a reminder that at 2,000 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away free LEGO Star Wars. I'm going to be giving away the new 2021 Summer Slave One with Boba Fett and Beskar Mando. If you want to enter the giveaway, all you have to do is to be subscribed to the channel. If you want to double your chances, you can follow me on Instagram at jhagman14 and DM me saying that you're in the giveaway. The link to my Instagram is in the bio of today's video. Getting into the first minifigure for today's video, we have Maul here. I'm not going to lie, this minifigure is definitely one of the best of the wave, and it's just really all around solid. Just great everywhere, really. The head is good. The mold up there with the horns is good. The lightsaber looks nice, right? The printing on the torso, legs, and face are good. Some people talked about maybe the lightsaber hilt could have been a different type from like Monkey Kid or something like that. I understand those complaints, but I don't know. I'm just used to the classic LEGO Star Wars ones. So that's not a big problem with me. Otherwise, though, this minifigure gets a 10 out of 10 for me in terms of accuracy. Really great minifigure here. The next Clone Wars minifigure here is Bo-Katan, another 10 out of 10 minifigure in my opinion. This one just all around is also really solid. I know the image on the right is from the Mandalorian, but either way, it doesn't matter if she's compared to the Clone Wars version or her Mandalorian version. This Bo-Katan is really fantastic. The helmet is awesome. They really killed that. The printing is also awesome as well. If you were to talk about like a dream scenario Bo-Katan minifigure, this is the one right here. This is fantastic. Next up, we have Gar Saxon here. This minifigure is still pretty good. It's not perfect in my opinion like the last two. It's going to get an 8 out of 10 for me. Really, the printing on the torso and legs and the jetpack right are all good. It's just the helmet with me is not that great. I feel like the horns, I feel like could have been, just a little bit more protruded or a little bit different there. As you can tell, the real version on the right, the horns are a little bit more distinct, I guess you could say. Other than that, the visor also is kind of not as accurate, I guess, as I'd like it to be or as many people would like it to be, right? Otherwise, though, a pretty solid figure, though. Now, the next minifigure in today's video is Ahsoka, who also gets an 8 out of 10. Really, this minifigure is fine in my opinion, except the only thing I don't like about it is the head mold, which is a little bit too big. Her head tail thing's a little bit too long, makes her look a little bit too old. She doesn't really look the right age for her actual version on the right there. Just a little bit off, kind of bugging, not very pleasant, but it is what it is, I guess. The next minifigure here is the Mandalorian Warrior, who also gets an 8 out of 10. It's kind of hard to find good images of the guy, so what's there on the right is basically the best thing I could find. But otherwise, this minifigure gets an 8 out of 10 because I feel like it's a little bit bland. It's not the most exciting minifigure. It definitely could have used some extra printing maybe on the arms or something like that. Other than that, though, the helmet is pretty solid. That's probably the best part of the minifigure in my opinion. And the printing overall, is pretty good, so I'll give it that. Moving back to minifigures that were pretty much perfect here, we have the LEGO Stormtrooper. I know some people don't like the helmet with this minifigure, but if you take that, out of the discussion, as far as accuracy goes, this minifigure is pretty much perfect. I mean, it's kind of hard to mess up a Stormtrooper, so yeah, that's all I have to say about it, really. Next up here, we have the Mortar Trooper, who also gets a 10 out of 10. This minifigure is pretty solid. I know kind of the shade of yellow might be just a little bit different here between the minifig and the real version, but other than that, the printing is fantastic, and the minifigure looks pretty good. If you were to add anything to the minifigure, maybe I'd say arm printing, but really that's kind of, hard to ask for because LEGO doesn't do it too often, so that's that, but otherwise a pretty solid minifigure here. Getting into some more Mandalorian minifigures, we have Greef Karga here, who gets a 10 out of 10 as well. Really just overall a great job with this minifigure. I really love the face on this minifig. LEGO killed it. The hair is good. The printing is good. Season 2 Greef Karga is fantastic. Moving into some Bad Batch minifigures here, we're going to start out with Hunter. Hunter's good, but I feel like maybe they could have added shoulder pads for him or just something with the shoulders and also a backpack, which aren't in the set or with the minifigure in this version at least, unfortunately. Other than that, the helmet is solid. The printing is solid. It's kind of hard to get these Bad Batch minifigures right because they're pretty unique, but still, this one could have been just slightly better. Another minifig that's good, but just not perfect in my opinion, is going to be Tech here. It's kind of hard to get him right, but his helmet is a little bit big, so it's kind of funky looking. And not only that, but I feel like it could have used some, arm printing again, which is kind of hard to ask for, but still, this is the Bad Batch, so I figured maybe that would have been included right. Other than that, though, really just the big complaint with him is just the helmet, but yeah, it looks pretty good. Unfortunately for me, the next Bad Batch minifigure, Echo, just didn't really work. I don't like him. No backpack. He doesn't really have his screwdriver arm in the sense of an actual screwdriver arm. And yeah, just don't like this one, especially the helmet. The helmet's the worst part for me. It's just not good. I feel like they definitely could have used a different mold here for him. I know the traditional clone helmet and his helmet are kind of close in terms of the structure and just the sculpt, but they're just different enough where it just like it looks weird here. It looks kind of wrong. They tried their best, and the printing is good, but it's just the mold is just wrong for the helmet. And it just bugs me. So yeah, really wish they could have done something about that. The next minifigure is Wrecker here, who gets an 8 out of 10, which is better than Echo. It's not perfect, but it is a much better score. Printing's pretty good. I think the shoulder pads work for Wrecker here. Definitely makes him look a lot bigger. And maybe they, use the shoulder pads here where they didn't on Hunter, because I guess it would have made Hunter look kind of big when Wrecker's supposed to be the big muscle guy, right? So it might have done something weird with that, but that's something for another video. Regardless, this is a good figure. It's not perfect. I feel like the helmet, they could have used a different mold than one that they've used before. If you're wondering, the helmet mold, I believe, is the Iron Man mold, which looks fine, but, definitely would have been kind of cool, right, to get a new mold, right? But otherwise, good minifigure. Next up, we have Crosshair here, who is overall a pretty good minifigure, except for a couple of minor gripes, which kind of just plagued most of the Bad Batch minifigures, in my opinion, in terms of gripes. Helmets and, accessories, and with Crosshair, it's the same thing, man. A backpack. A lot of these Bad Batch guys have backpacks and stuff, or just something on their back, right? And LEGO just doesn't have them in the set. Why? I don't know, but it just is what it is. And then with him, again, it's the helmet as well. The helmets are just a little bit different in terms of the mold. His mold is kind of like a Stormtrooper and clone helmet combined, I guess you could say. At least that's what it looks like kind of in the show. Like the bottom half is kind of like a Stormtrooper helmet, but the top half is, kind of clone-ish maybe. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but either way, he has a clone helmet on all the way, and it just doesn't really work that well in my opinion. It's not terrible. The visor looks fine. It's just the helmet mold is just, not sculpted correctly, or the way it should look, I guess. So it looks kind of weird. It also doesn't have an antenna, so that's that as well. Anyways, moving on from the Bad Batch minifigures, here's a Mandalorian minifigure, this one being Boba Fett. In this case, the minifigure is good, the printing's nice, except there's just literally 2 different shades of green on this minifigure. On the top half with the helmet and the jetpack, you have kind of a lighter sand green, on the bottom a much more dark green. Why they didn't go with one or the other, I don't know. I think the correct one is supposed to be kind of more of a darker green, but either way, they're just miscolored. And, at first I kind of played this off and, was like, this isn't that bad. But after kind of looking at it, I realized, yeah, I don't know what happened there. And it kind of sucks. It really knocks off this minifigure. Yeah, just a slight color change. This minifigure would have been perfect. So, unfortunate. Moving on, next up we have the Dark Trooper here, who, in my opinion, is just a character or a minifigure, I guess you could say, that is just really hard to get right in LEGO. And although the LEGO version has its flaws, I guess, it's not really LEGO's fault. It's more like a technicality thing where it's just LEGO bricks and minifigure bricks, I guess you could say, just can't really be formed to show how a Dark Trooper really looks. And that's fine with me. I think otherwise this minifigure is perfect. The head mold is nice. The printing's nice. The shoulder pads are nice. I like this minifigure a lot. I think it's going to grow on a lot of people. And yeah, this is perfect for me. Next up here, we have kind of a 2-in-1 with the Child and Mando in one ranking here. Gonna give them both 10s. Overall, pretty good minifigures. Mando especially, they really killed that minifigure. LEGO did a fantastic job with him. The Child is good, I guess. Maybe not perfect, but pretty good. So overall, I'm just gonna have to give him, both 10s. Why not? Next up, we have Moff Gideon here, who also gets a 10 out of 10. The printing on his torso is very simple, but as you can tell there, it is very accurate. They really did a good job there. The cape looks good. The dark saber looks pretty good as well. I know some people have complained about it with the blade, the hilt, that kind of thing. I know it looks kind of weird, but I don't know. LEGO has not really made a decision to ever go with a ninja blade or a different kind of, anything here. So as long as they keep doing that, I'm not going to complain. Maybe one day they will switch to that, but I don't know. I'm just used to this kind of look, so it is what it is. Moving on, we have Fennec Shand next. Pretty good minifigure. Going to give her a 10 out of 10. The helmet is nice. Printing on the face is nice. Printing on the body and torso and arms and all that stuff is pretty solid. Although this minifigure gets a 10 out of 10 for me, if there were one thing I would say about it or could do about it that would be different, it's that she doesn't really have that skirt thing that she has in her real life version. I don't know why she doesn't have it in this. They would have been, really easy to incorporate that into the minifigure, but they just didn't decide to go with that. But otherwise, good minifigure. Next up, we have the GNK Droid here, which gets a 10 out of 10. Not really technically a minifigure, but, I decided to include it in today's video because why not? And it's perfect. I mean, you really can't get a GNK Droid wrong, and can't really give it too much detail or thought, so looks pretty good, I guess. And for the final minifigure for today's video, I decided to give a 7 out of 10 to Cara Dune. Unfortunately, I gave her this grade because I feel like with her shoulders, they definitely could have added like some like shoulder pad things or shoulder piece, I guess, to make her kind of fit more of the real life version, right? I think that would have been better. That's just my opinion. But also her hair, in my opinion, just I don't like it. I know it looks kind of accurate in this image here compared to her real life version, but that hair is just not working for Cara Dune. I think they definitely could have made it, her own mold, because this hair just doesn't look very accurate. It just looks some typical Lego City hair, and I think they really could have done a better job with this here. But overall, the printing's good, so it's okay. Overall, guys, though, the Summer 2021 wave, in terms of minifigures, gets a 9 out of 10 for accuracy scores or just how good the minifigures are. That was the average between 21 different minifigures in today's video, so I gotta give credit where credit is due. Lego did a pretty solid job. Anyways, though, guys, that's pretty much going to do it for today's video. So please make sure you guys comment down below what you guys think about today's video. What do you guys think about these comparisons? Overall, I think Lego did a pretty outstanding job with these summer minifigures. They all look pretty good. I'm excited to get my hands on them. But as always, guys, please make sure you guys like and subscribe. Please make sure to enter that giveaway. And I'll see you all next time, my friends. Have a good one.